Let me make this clear from the start. If you go into Firewatch with an expectation other than exploring a narrative, you're going to be disappointed. This is not a survival game. It is not a horror game. It is not a puzzle game. It's an interactive work of fiction. Now with that out of the way, we can get into the main body of it. There may be spoilers, so this is fair warning. Firewatch starts with you selecting bits of dialogue and going through a set piece to get you into your role as a new member of Firewatch at Shoshone National Forest. Graphics wise, we're treated to a wonderfully colourful environment with a distinctive, almost cel-shaded look. I really like the way the environments work with the lighting to give you the stylised effects. Repeat after me. Art style is more important than graphics. What's even more amazing is that this game is made with Unity. They managed to get these jaw-dropping effects out of Unity. I'm surprised, but not at the same time. Unity is an incredibly powerful engine, but most of the time what we see from it is utter dross made with pre-made assets. But that's another video. The soundtrack is subtle, with ambient noise playing a crucial role in moving the story along. The music was soft and fitting, but I did get a bit of a vibe of The Last of Us. The voice acting is absolutely top-notch. Special shout out to Cissy Jones for her exceptional performance as Delilah. Now, gameplay. This is where a lot of people are divided. A lot of people went into Firewatch after watching the trailers and they were expecting a horror or a thriller, or for some inexplicable reason, some of you guys were expecting a survival game. Where the fuck did you get all those impressions from? I didn't get a single whiff of that from any of the materials that came along with this game. Others have lumped it in with Dear Esther and Gone Home. Those games are good, but not a heck of a lot happens. And here's the part that'll really make you think I fucking lost it. Not a lot needs to happen for this to be a great experience. This game is about exploring your emotional reactions. What do you think all the questions are for? What do you think the multiple choices are about? It's not about the game generating something for you based on your answers. It's about you, the player. It's about you going on your journey with Henry. It's about you exploring his guilt and all the forms it takes on. Shame, paranoia, fear, all of it. And it does manage to evoke all of these for me. The overarching mystery storyline gives you all the reasons in the world to be utterly paranoid. After one particular event, I was so spooked by even the slightest noise coming from the bushes. There were a couple of parts that were annoying, such as the slightly fiddly control system when trying to get down cliffs. And if any one of you bastards mentions that they should have had a GPS, I'll remind you that this is set in the 80s. We didn't have it back then. Don't complain about having to read a map and use a compass. It fits with the time period. Your argument is invalid. There were a few bugs, but nothing that couldn't be patched. But here's one issue that I just couldn't shake. This is undoubtedly a great experience from start to finish, but I get the feeling we're starting to see a critical acclaim formula arise. I'm not attempting to take anything from Campo Santo here. I'm sure that they made the game they really wanted to give us, but because I get the vibes from The Last of Us in the music, Gone Home and Dear Esther in terms of gameplay, and even Journey in terms of visuals, I'm worried that experiences like this will lose their meaning and just become a basic formula to follow, and stories like this deserve so much more. I understand that taking influence from other things is a part of creating art, but because it feels so familiar to these other brilliant games, I'm worried that the experience might become somehow distilled and just ready to be applied to anything. Maybe it'll cause us to have better games in the future, but I don't know that it will. I just know that we have to let gaming as an art form develop on its own in an organic way, but that again is another video. I'm all for interactive fiction, but I do think we need to shake up the formula a little bit and maybe add some length. Firewatch was intense, but short. My final criticism is this. I don't need to play this again. I know there may be a couple of things that I missed, but I played the game as me, using my reactions. To go back and do it again differently might take some of that emotional response I had away. Firewatch may well be a contender for Game of the Year, and rightly so. Its story, visuals and gameplay are rock solid, and that are delivered in such an evocative way, it'd be a shame for you to miss this. Just go in without expectations and enjoy the ride.
I should be